there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to the episode of Necromunda Hired Guns, your ultimate guide to the gritty underhives of Games Workshop's Necromunda. In this series, we dive deep into the fascinating world of hanger-ons, brutes, and hired guns, so whether you're a seasoned gang leader or just stepping into the dark corridors of Hive Primus for the very first time, our in-depth analysis will help you master these valuable allies and assets to help you dominate in your next campaign. And with that being said, today's episode we're focusing on three very specific hanger-ons. We're going to be focusing on the Propagandist, as well as the Proxy and the Scabber. We're going to be looking at the ways that these members of the gang help you defend stolen goods, as well as to curry favor with different criminal organizations, as well as alliances, and finally also to spread your renown and reputation in the mean alleyways and tunnels of Hive Primus. Now, because this video is a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps in the description box down below so that we can click and navigate to the part of the video that interests you the most. So that being said, let's start off with the Propagandist. The Imperial House, the Clown Houses, and even criminals all use propaganda to spread their message through the Underhive. Specially trained individuals give speeches, paint slogans on walls, and spread favorable rumors among the citizenry. These propagandists might be dedicated members of the faction they represent, or simply professional rabble-rousers. So let's go and talk about this unique hanger-on that you can actually take for your gangs of Necromunda. So the Propagandist costs 30 credits right off the bat. At the same time, you can either recruit one of these guys or not have any of them, totally up to you. Now for the characteristics, they do have a movement characteristic of 4 inches, as well as a 5+ weapon skill, 4+ ballistic skill, 3 strength and toughness, 1 wound, 5 initiative, 1 attack, 7 leadership, 8 cool willpower, as well as intelligence. So these guys have very just average ganger level fighter stats, maybe even on par with most juvies, but that's not the real reason why you're really taking these characters. Now they do pack either a last pistol or a stub gun, so whichever one is the most valuable to you is the weapon you get to choose. But the main reason why you might want to take these guys is for the special rule, as well as some of the skills they provide. First of all, they have the inspirational skill, which means if a friendly fighter fails a cool test while within 6 inches, this character, the Propagandist, takes a leadership test. If the leadership is passed, then the cool test is passed as well. And with a leadership of 7+, you'll be succeeding at almost 50% of the time, which is actually kind of a nice way to help kind of back up some fighters that might be suffering from nerf tests or as well as failing their cool test quite often. Juvie level fighters would be really good to pair up with the Propagandist because they can benefit from the inspirational skill as well. Now at the same time, we also have the special rules on this one. If you choose and win the battle, you earn D3 extra reputation. However, though, if you lose, you lose an additional point of reputation. And when the gang adds a juvie or similar level fighter to the gang, you roll a D6. On a 6, you gain an additional fighter on top of that. So if you're looking for a way to recruit more fighters for you, you can actually do this really well and actually have a 1 in 6 chance of actually doubling up the number of fighters you can recruit from your territories. Now, we do have a brand new special rule attached to these guys. This actually comes from the Apocrypha Necromunda supplement, the Twins of Two Tunnels, which you can download from the Warhammer community webpage. And this one's basically called a War of Words, as well as Rally Allies, which is a basic action. It says all friendly fighters within 12 inches add +1 to their cool characteristic into the end of the round. So once again, if you are going to be using Propagandists in this game, this would be a nice way for you to actually use this ability and to actually help kind of bolster your ranks. So if you have like a lot of Propagandists, for example, a lot of juvie level fighters, for example, like let's say you're a Cawdor gang, you have a lot of bone pickers, you pair them up with a Propagandist, and they could also increase their cool, and they could also benefit from this fighter's inspirational skill as well. Now for 30 credits, this guy actually does quite a bit. This fighter helps with recruitment, helps you with reputation gain, and provide much needed buffs on the tabletop, especially if fighters with really horrible characteristics with their cool statistics as well. So in my opinion, the Propagandist actually makes an excellent choice, only costs 30 credits. Now, whether you feel it's justified to actually spend the credit sink on this character and to take up a spot in your roster, that of course is a strategic or a tactical choice for players, but if you're looking for a way to actually increase reputation and to actually recruit more fighters, this might be the one for you. So now that we're done talking about the Propagandist, let's talk about the Proxy. Outlaws and cults are hunted gangs within the Underhive and cannot deal openly with the Guilders or the Imperial House for fear of retribution. Proxies are otherwise respectable underhivers with connections to nefarious organizations and willingly sell captives, buy goods, or beguile allies in the name of an outlaw or cult gang. So let's go and talk about the Proxy real quick, which is another unique hanger-on that is actually available for your gangs as well. Very useful for outlaw gangs specifically. These guys cost about 25 credits for your gang. You could also recruit only one of these guys, or you could recruit none of them if you want to. It's entirely up to you how you basically want to run these guys as well. Now when I talk about their characteristics real quick, they got a 5-inch movement allowance. They also have 5+ weapon skill, 5+ ballista skill. They have 3 strength, 3 toughness, 1 wound, 4 initiative, 1 attack, 7 leadership, 8 cool, 7 willpower, as well as 6 intelligence. Now when it comes to characteristics, they're pretty much on par with a juvie level fighter. So any kind of juvie level fighters that are out there for gangs, this character will approximately, basically stand on the ring around them as well. But you're not using the proxy to do the same kind of work that Juvie's level fighters do. You're really taking this character really for their special abilities, which you're really using them for. Now they do come with a last pistol or stub gun, so whatever one is your favorite type to use, you could of course use that. And they also have the evade skill, which means you get a -1 hit penalty when shooting at this character, so that part is quite nice. But the main reason why you want this character is for their special rules. You can sell captives to the guilders and may use the trading outpost even if you are a outlaw gang. But before you do so though, you must roll a d6, and on 5+ when it's a happening, you actually fail that action as well. So you want to make sure you roll low whenever you're using this character as well. Now make alliances, you can also make alliances with merchant guilds or the Imperial House if you're an outlaw gang as well. But before the alliance is formed, roll a d6. On a 6, it fails and the proxy is removed from the gang roster. If outlaw alliances, the merchant or Imperial houses are tested, then it automatically ends with no need to roll whatsoever. So the nice thing about this character is that he is a outlaw hanger-on, designed really for outlaw gangs, which is if you're playing in a campaign where that's actually an important thing, a proxy could be quite useful as well. The ability to sell captives and the use of trading posts is important with only a 1 in 3 chance of failing, so that's the reason why you really want to take one of these proxies. At the same time, if you're an outlaw gang, being able to make an alliance with House Helmore or the Merchants Guild is actually pretty amazing, and you only get a 1 in 6 chance of actually failing that, so odds are in your favor that you can maintain the alliance with the Imperial House or with the Merchant Guilds if you're an outlaw gang. So it's kind of like combining the best of both worlds. You can be both a criminal as well have some legitimate allies, which is a kind of great way to do that. So if alliances or using the trading post or being able to sell captives is important to you, and you happen to be an outlaw gang, at 25 credits, it's an amazing steal, and you can do a lot of real good for your gang in that campaign setting as well. Plus, not to mention, the miniature from Forge Roll is quite cool. Of course, if you don't want to pay Forge Roll prices for the proxy, you can always convert 3D print or proxy your own. So you can do that if you want to, so the choice is entirely yours. So now that we're done talking about the proxy, let's talk about the Scabber. Even the toughest, roughest backwater settlement is wary of dealing in illegal goods, test the wrath of the guilders to fall upon it. This is where scabbers come in, men and women willing to deal in anything that might turn a profit. Scabbers are also useful when it comes to procuring illegal equipment, as they often have connections with the cold trade. So let's talk about the Scabber real quick. You can recruit up to one of these guys for your gang if you want to, and they also cost 40 credits in order to recruit them for your gang as well. Now while we're talking about this, let's talk about their characteristics real quick. They have a 4-inch wound allowance, as well as a 5+ weapon skill. They have a 4+ ballista skill, 3 strength, 3 toughness, 1 wound, 5 initiative, 1 attack. They have 7 leadership, 8 cool, 8 willpower, as well as 6 intelligence. Now, they do have below average stats, but they do have a decent ballista skill of 4+, but they have a really nice intelligence stat of 6+, which is really quite good because when you combine that with Savvy Trader, it actually makes a really good skill combination, especially for this character, because the Savvy Trader skill is quite good. You get +1 rarity rolls, and you minus 20 credits from the cap value to purchase, and it can be asked that makes the Scabber special rule. I'd say yes, because potentially 50 credits off of illegal items is really good to have, so that's something you want to use for this character. Now, they are packing a shotgun assault and scatter ammo as well for protection, but you're not really taking this guy for any kind of combat mode, really. You're just really using it for that Savvy Trader skill as well as their special rules. Now, what ends up happening is that you can also subtract D3 times 10 credits from black market items, and that's a pretty decent discount all told. Anywhere between 10 to 30 credits taken off any black market item could be quite good because some of that stuff could be quite expensive. And at the same time, you can also make a trade action post-battle like a leader, but you can only do so from the black market. So if you don't want to use one of your post-battle actions in order to go to the black market, you can use the Scabber to do that for you instead, which is kind of nice. Now, there is something you got to also remember about when it does come to the Scabber. The Scabber can only be taken by outlaw gangs, so that is something you might want to take into consideration. So if you're a law-abiding gang, you really can't use a Scabber all that much. But for outlaw gangs, though, you can use them, which is quite nice because outlaw gangs don't really have much in terms of hanger-ons and brutes they can really choose from, so the Scabber is quite nice. In conclusion, I think outlaw gangs are kind of limited to hanger-ons and brutes, so this can really help you out, especially if you want to make some additional money to buying and selling things on the black market as well. And if you plan on buying illegal goods, then this character is definitely a must, because having that steep discount and the ability to actually sell those items as well is going to be extremely useful for your gang. So there you guys have it. In conclusion, a very unique series of unique hanger-ons with unique abilities to help you in your campaigns as well. This one's actually kind of dedicated more for outlaw gangs, but you can do some really cool things with these guys to kind of help bolster your ranks and also help you out to achieve victory in your campaigns as well. And as always, it really comes down to a strategic or a tactical choice when it comes to any kind of hanger-ons or brutes that you want to use for your gang. So if you're always confused about what to do, whether it's competitive or not, the thing I recommend for you to do is to always abide by the rule of cool. Whatever sounds cool to you and fun for you to use, then by all means do so, because you can go back and forth all day whether things are effective or not. At the end of the day though, it's just about having fun and rolling some dice, and if you can really do some really cool things with some of these hanger-ons, you can do some really explore some really interesting game mechanics. So just always focus on the rule of cool whenever possible. And of course, if you guys have any other suggestions for some other hanger-ons or brutes that you would like to see on this channel, please drop a comment in the comments box down below. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on it, also what kind of recommendations you guys would like to see as well. So that's good for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is invaluable to us as always. I am Commander Cheapskate. I will catch you guys next video. Peace out and stay classy.